These are going to be my top 10 NBA free agents and predictions of where they're going to go. All the people on top 10 may not be complete star players, but I think these are going to be high impact people that will raise the ceiling and floors for their teams. Starting with number 10, Dylan Brooks. I know it's fun to clown Dylan Brooks, especially after the last playoff run, like, oh, he only shot 30% from the field and talked all this trash. But Dylan Brooks' impact does not come from his scoring. He's an average scorer at best. It's his defense that makes him an NBA player. And you can even say, oh, well, his defense isn't great. You saw what job he did guarding LeBron. LeBron had 30 points, 20 points, a 20-20 double double, 20 points and 20 rebounds. It was crazy. But honestly, what are you going to do? Who can guard LeBron? Honestly. And the whole, we're not going to bring Dylan Brooks back under any circumstance. To me, I thought that was just a ploy. Like, you're just saying that to distract us from Ja. You guys know that you guys have crazy locker room situations over there in Memphis that need to be under control, and you're trying to scapegoat it all on Dylan Brooks. So if Memphis does end up not re-signing Brooks, I think the best place for him to go would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's up for a 4-year, $75 million contract, and I think the Minnesota Timberwolves have that grit and grind culture that Brooks would fit perfectly into. And Chris Middleton for the Bucks has a player option that's upcoming. It's for $40 million a year. Obviously, Chris Middleton at this point in his career is not worth $40 million. He's regressed a little bit, but I think the Bucks are going to try to retain him. So I see him opting out of his player option and then re-signing, so it'll be a more team-friendly deal. And that brings me to player number 7, Draymond Green. He's a 33-year-old that can't shoot and also punches his teammates. But honestly, can you get rid of Draymond Green? What success would the Golden State Warriors have if it wasn't for Draymond? He's the lifeline for this team. And then on the other hand, you got to keep in mind that he's going to earn $24 million next season. And the Warriors are already one of the most expensive teams in the league. Actually, I think they are the most expensive. So, that new salary tax is going to absolutely kill them. And honestly, I think there are a couple teams who would pay this 24 million for Draymond. He could always opt out and sign a more team-friendly deal, but that still won't fix a lot of the core issues, like the lack of bench, the lack of Clay being able to shoot, Jordan Poole stinking it up, and Jordan Poole hates that Draymond is there. And you pay Jordan Poole all that money and max him out last offseason, so you have to commit to him. If Poole says that he doesn't want to play with Draymond anymore, you have decisions to make. One of them needs to go. And honestly, I'd rather let Draymond walk than trade Poole because I think Poole still has a lot of upside, and there's nothing on the market that's going to be worth me investing a Draymond trade. The next guy on my list is Fred VanVleet. Fred is a stellar point guard. He had some great seasons in Toronto. Last year, he stunk it up. He stunk it up. It was awful. He was shooting like what 30% from the field, damn near. So my prediction is he's going to opt out. He will get that bag in free agency. He will, and he deserves it. Because to think about it, 130 million is not a lot for a point guard who can produce as much as Fred. Because you gotta think, if Brunson can get 100 million, Fred can definitely get 130. So I'm looking forward to see where he goes. The Lakers could be a good destination. The Clippers could be a good destination. But it also depends on where Chris Paul goes, who's also my next guy. And yeah, we don't know if Chris Paul is actually a free agent or going to be a free agent yet, but the rumor is that he will be waived. And I expect a lot of teams to be looking to pick up Chris Paul on a vet minimum or maybe a mid level exception as a good backup PG. So I definitely see the Clippers being in the mix. I definitely see the Lakers being in the mix. I definitely see Houston being in the mix. So we're just going to have to wait and see what the Suns decide to do. Philly could also be a great option for Chris Paul, especially if James Harden denies his option. And I'm not saying that Philly is going to exceed what James Harden did if they had Chris Paul in place, because honestly, I think they're both, kind of underwhelming in the playoffs and also older and more injury prone. So Philly's going to be in the exact same spot no matter what, but I know they're going to offer the bag to an agent point guard because that's what Philly does. James Harden is up for $35.6 million next year. He turned down his option. So we already know where James Harden is going. He's going back to Houston. I think he's going to do his last hurrah in Houston, his last 2, 3 years in the league, and retire there. And Houston needs a nice vet presence in their locker room because they have an AAU team out there currently. And another team in the NBA that plays like an AAU team, the Washington Wizards, are looking to trade Bradley Beal. So if Bradley Beal gets traded, we could see the Wizards blow it all up. So if I'm Kristaps Porzingis and I'm up for a player option, I would opt out because I would want to choose my next destination. I wouldn't want to wait for the Wizards to try to figure out where they're going to trade me or package me in a Bradley Beal deal. I think one of the best locations for Porzingis would be a team that he was previously on, the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks do not have a great center, and they need someone with more dynamic scoring and consistent shooting, which Porzingis can bring. And then also the Dallas Mavericks. I know Kristaps and Luka didn't really get along, but hopefully now that they're both a little bit older, they can see that they need to be together, and it will work. Because you signed Christian Wood, which is just a lesser version of Kristaps, with less defense. So I don't really understand why we would not just keep Kristaps because the budget still fit. And there's been rumors of the Los Angeles Lakers, but I just don't see the Lakers taking up that extra cap space. I don't expect the Lakers to change much at all, except signing people on minimum contracts, unless they trade either Anthony Davis or D'Angelo Russell. Another wizard that's going to be on the move is Kyle Kuzma. Everyone always says Kyle Kuzma is overrated, but I think he's perfect the way he is. You know, Kyle Kuzma played 2, 3 years in college before coming to the NBA. He's not a one and done. He's just a solid role player, and he was also a third option on a championship team. Last year he averaged 21, 7, and 4, and his option is only 13 million, and he's only 27. So I think there's a lot more money for him out in the open market for sure. And I think a spot I can see him going where he'll be a great fit is the Golden State Warriors. Golden State needs off the bench scoring, size, and defense, and Kyle Kuzma can provide all that at a way better price than what they're currently getting. And for Miami, Victor Oladipo is also up for contract, and it's going to be worth about $9.5 million. He's probably going to opt in because not really anyone's interested in Victor Oladipo, especially after his injury history, and he was just injured this year. So I expect him to resign. He may get moved in a trade to get some more pieces to help Jimmy Butler, but he's definitely going to opt in for next season. And lastly, to me, the most important free agent and the most impactful free agent of the offseason is Kyrie Irving. Yes, he's moody. Yes, he doesn't want to play basketball. Yes, he has awful takes. Yes, he thinks the earth is flat. But he's a hooper. Kyrie is a top 2 point guard in this league. Honestly, he could be number one. He's a dynamic finisher, a great dribbler, and a great shooter. He shot 50% last season, and he's a closer. He leads the league in fourth quarter points. And Dallas needs to pray. Mark Cuban needs to be on his hands and knees begging Kyrie to re sign with them. Because if not, you gave up your whole depth, your whole team just for a 3 month loan of Kyrie. And that makes absolutely no sense as an organization. And Kyrie has his list of suitors. I don't think it's going to be a problem trying to figure out where Kyrie can go. Because much people like to talk about how much they hate Kyrie and how he's a problem for the team, there's not a single team out here that would deny the opportunity to sign Kyrie. The top destination, of course, are the LA teams, the Lakers, but the Lakers will only happen if they cut a few pieces, like maybe Rui Hachimura and then maybe D'Angelo Russell. And then also the Clippers could be looking to sign him. And don't forget, the Chicago Bulls desperately need a point guard. Now, are they going to win anything with Kyrie? I don't think so because that roster is just awful. But Kyrie on the Bulls, that'll be a good fit and that'll be an entertaining team because Lonzo Ball is never coming back and he's never playing basketball again. So they need to find someone to fill that role immediately. And let me know in the comments who you think is going to be the best free agent for your team to target. And let me know what you think about my picks. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.